Welcome to CathyDSlaught's SRC4u Zoom call for January 3rd, 2021. We're here on Cathy's website, CathyDSlaght.com. We're going to scroll down, look for this Zoom banner where we'll click here. If you'd like to be part of Cathy's SRC4u Daily Energy Group, the information's here. Register now. If you'd like to follow Cathy, you can reach her on Twitter. Click right there. That'll take you over to the Twitter account. We're going to proceed through to the Zoom platform where the call will be live, so please turn down your speaker.
Here we are at 10, and so let me, again, Happy New Year to y'all, and let's go forward. I want to show you, I went ahead and put together our Planet Earth vision board based on the information some of you sent me, and I really appreciate it. We had some different scans, etc. So I went through and I tested them for priority. And first, let me show you, which is interesting. Heal us from evil, 99% priority. Activate a multitude of hearts and minds, ministering to those who have eyes to see and ears to hear for the fulfillment of mankind's true capability. Golden Age paradigm through divine love. Defeat all pathogens thanks to God-given immune system. Transmute and remove projected self-limitations, vows, and oaths from other lifetimes and the collective fears of humanity's consciousness that are stored in the DNA. Holistic therapies are the norm for all diseases. Look at that, 96% priority. Heal us from hatred. Heal us from self-destruction. Seed new futures. The illusion of separation now lifts. Clear dependence on government. Now, a thought here, and by the time I did this, my brain could have been working better than it was. But what I thought about is, wouldn't it be wonderful if we had a word next to each of these and could do some image cycling, even if we worked with a crystal? Discover the treatment scheme to heal all disease. All food worldwide is free of GMOs. Here's our song that goes at an 88%. And then this is interesting, clear Akashic records, timelines, and the biofield. Heal us from sickness, block cyber attack, acknowledge the relativity of various points of view, clear terror, and worldwide prosperity. And I found this, get back up there. Here were our runners up, which I found interesting personally. Look down here, reevaluate the plans for vaccinating the entire population on Earth. In other words, maybe if we deal with all this up here, we may not need to have such stress related to this. This also, some of you sent me some information, which I appreciate so much, and here I'll include this today. This Global Enlightenment Program is doing some very interesting things. We might want to look into more of that. I think maybe we will. But I want to show you something here. So let's get to the planet. Oops, that's not it. Let's get in here. All right, something before we do, look at our high resonance, but something to think about too. Could it be that there are some that their soul journey involves a different path, that they're here to go through some of the things? Do we have the right to interfere with others' soul journeys? Anybody?
I completely agree with you, Cathy.
Yeah.
I think all we can do is work with us and
yes.
Yeah. We have to be very, very careful.
Yes.
Definitely.
And so I have to say something else interesting. You know, Annie works with the Sophia Code. And I did not put the image in because, again, I'm not trying to push anything on anybody. But one of the images that came up for one of our statements was actually the Sophia Code, and I'll show you. But before we go on to that, let's just put in, if you're comfortable with this, to whom, put in there, that's not typing. Look at that, we're having a little trouble with this. We're going to put to whom, because what I think might be a good idea would be to say to whom it may concern. And that way, if there are those meant to receive this energy, it's there for them. But for us to call the shots and say this is the way the planet needs to be, here we go, thank you, may not be appropriate. May not be appropriate. So this is what we've got here. Here's our heal us from evil. That certainly doesn't sound like a bad thing, because evil is lower vibratory level. And that opens us up to all kinds of things. And it's very generic, but I guess the cosmos understands there's an image. This next one, about activating a multitude of hearts. It's about us reaching our capability. And so there is where that image is. Now, you all will have these. Poor Kevin, I am going to see if he has time to download this. And then if any of you want this one, you're welcome to it. Or you might want to find your own images. You may find a lot better than I did. But here's a big heart for this up here, Golden Age paradigm. Because that's really, in my opinion, after learning as we continue to learn, we really are in a field of unconditional love. Going on, defeat all pathogens thanks to God-given immune system. And there we go, the self-healing body. Transmute and remove projected self-limitation, vows, and oaths. This was kind of a hard one. And this is the one that the Sophia Code came up for. So you might want to do more investigating on the Sophia Code. And I just went ahead and put a picture like this at this point. Holistic therapies are the norm. And I guess I have to remember what Ralph taught. Sorry about that. And that was a nice one. Heal us from hatred. The illusion of separation now lifts. This was Seed New Futures. Each of us, a lot of times we think we're not doing much, but each of us, with any change we make, I can't recall the numbers, but we seem to impact a lot of people. And okay, then true oneness. This was an interesting one. Clear dependence on government, and what we're looking for is sovereignty. And if you do any research on this, you might even come to the conclusion that many of these governmental programs that supposedly help us were not really designed to help us. It's pretty intriguing. Discover the treatment scheme to heal all disease. And this is on I did a vision board for myself. And once you do it, I found out also the vision board doesn't always want to go in the mastery. It sometimes wants to go in other tools we have. But one of my goals for anybody interested is to form a network of people across the country that want to start their own energy groups, so that we can reach out and do whatever we can do. And that for us to work together, there's no reason for any competition with what we do. I even know people that don't want people to know they can buy their own SRC because they want to do the work for them, but that's really not the way it's meant to work. So this is something we could consider, putting together a network and each of us having our own energy groups. All food worldwide is free of the GMO. This was so interesting. And this came from what Stephen sent, but clearing Akashic records. Again, I'm not really up on the information on that like I should be. Heal us from sickness. This one I had a little trouble with, cyber attacks. I'm just putting attack prevention. Again, we don't want to be into fear over these things. We just want to be aware. I like this, the relativity of various points of view and how we can all come together. This clear terror, I had quite an interesting time finding an image for that one as well. So, okay, so now how do I get Okay, so when I went in, we can definitely run it this way. And if you make your own vision board, you can check it. Like last night, I checked and I wanted to run mine again last night. But let's see where we are right here. So we're just going to do a wonder click, but then I want to show you also, of all things, I tested Mastery, Scheduler, all the Pro Tools, and we actually want to start out today with sending this the information from the vision board through the sustenance balancer. So let's get that started. And go down here to the sustenance balancer. And I went ahead and started. And I'll probably go through with each thing on the list, particularly the water. We now know that our water is a computer, which means it can be totally receptive to any information we want to send it. So let's go in here. Let's load a cocktail. Go up here to SR4 data. Get in here. And there we go, Earth. Okay, there it is. Let's save it. And now for today, this is what we're asking for, and we can, you're familiar with all this, but activate lines of force to heal, restore, revitalize, strengthen, nourish, and reinvigorate the body, and to maintain it in a state of excellent health. That doesn't sound too bad. So let's go in here. And we want today to include our vehicle with our work. Of course, our body kind of is our vehicle. So that's something to think about. Oops. Now it wants to fill that in. Kevin, the other day, I don't think he's on today, but he gave me a cocktail, or used a cocktail on my computer. I need to get a hold of that and send it out. We may already have it, but I just can't recall. So you see, we have a high outcome of this, but at this point, we're not necessarily in a state of resonance. Facilitate self-healing. I'm getting up there with that one. Session broadcast improvement. Now we want to balance all glands. Look at that, 24 hours, and I've been seeing a lot of this kind of stress, not just with the group, but with one-on-ones. Destroy to divine, or destroy, look at me, restore to divine blueprint. This is really doing its own thing today.
Get the pendulum on.
You got it, and I do need to send out what Karen Barnett sent us in reference. I'll get that up today and out with this other information. Look at this resonance here, restore to divine blueprint, on the Raymond Grace stuff. We've got a couple of protocols in here already from what he did, but also I'm just going to get my pendulum out and start doing a little more work with it. This electrical conductivity, when that comes up, that is probably in reference to our water. We're either not getting enough water or we're getting poor quality water. So that's another factor we can be aware of. And look at that, there's some stress there. So we might want to, that's while we're waiting. Well, let's put that in the pathogen panel. Come on.
Cathy, why did you choose the pathogen panel for that?
Well, because that was the first thing that came up as far as our request for the Pro Tools, and plus, I do think that if this conductivity is off, that really gives the pathogens a head start.
Ah, thank you.
Yeah, and you will find, probably you've seen this already, that if you're coming down with a little something, if you'll up your water, it's quite amazing. So, but we could actually also do it with acupuncture. You know, you have different choices, and plus we've got it in the P4. But yeah, the water, I think we're going to find out that the water is so major, and many of us, first of all, much of our water is not the way it should be. Raymond Grace is going to teach ways. In fact, this is pretty exciting. I don't know that we can measure it for a group as well as for individuals, but let's just look at the quality of the water coming into our homes. Because this is something we should probably check every day on an individual level. Let's look at this. Okay, so we could amp that up a little bit too. And this has so much to do with our manifestation. I mean, people think of manifestation in terms of money and all, but I'm thinking in terms of a better planet and health and love and all these things. So the water is a factor. Now let's go in here, recharge.
What is Raymond Grace training in?
He douses. Raymond Grace douses, and he is exceptional.
Absolutely, unequivocally.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah, I'm not very good at that.
And Grandmaster and Kevin are very connected to his work too.
Yes. Well, our dowser, actually, Grandmaster and Raymond Grace worked together on that. So what I have found, I don't know about the rest of you, but the more I use the dowser, the more accurate it is. And it's not a psychic feature. It's showing you where you are at this moment in time. My own belief being that you are going to bring into your physical plane what you're resonating with. So let's say you put in there that you want to go into cryptocurrency this year, which looks like it kind of might be a good idea. You need to check your blueprint and see, do you resonate with that? If you don't, that doesn't mean don't do it. It just means you might need to do a little stress management on that. But yeah, the dowser, definitely that is something that Grandmaster went, one-on-one with Raymond Grace for.
Comment?
Yeah.
Raymond is spelled R-A-Y-M-O-N.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
He has a ton of YouTube videos, and just start going through those, and you'll pick up a ton of information.
Thank you. Absolutely, it is incredible.
Thank you on that one too.
And if you're not accustomed to doing any dowsing, look up who was it? A letter to
Robin.
There you go. Thank you.
Robin is
Well, and for me, I'm not so good at dowsing for yeses and nos, but you can do so much clearing. A lot of people may not believe in dowsing because they had a lost object or whatever, and they're like, well, it didn't work, it didn't help me. But, there's other ways to work with the pendulum, and I think that's what Raymond Grace does is, am I right, the clearing and the enhancing.
absolutely. He's very good.
So we see we want the E body, but then down here at the bottom, remember if our polarity is a little bit stressed, we might want some of these things at the other end. Priority for chi motion. Yeah, look at that. So we know that. Let's look down here.
Wait, was that Steve that was doing the talking?
Yes.
Okay, so Steve, you're a dowser, right?
I have gotten into it a little bit. You have to keep up the practice in order to be really accurate.
That's right.
And I haven't done that as much as I should, but it doesn't take much to get back into it.
I love it.
Yeah, once again, water is a very important part of dowsing. If you're not hydrated, you can get inaccurate information. You need to be grounded with your energy running, your polarity running correctly.
That's true.
And so there's a couple things like that in the letter to Robin. It really gets into specifics and guides you through. There is one thing that I found is helps your self-confidence in doing it and keeps your ego out of the outcome. You get a plain sheet of copy paper and fold it, I think it's 4 times, and you end up with 16 little rectangles. You cut those up, you write positive statements on 8 of them or half of them, and negative statements on the other. Statements just like the color of my car is. I was born such and such a day or year. But they have to be statements of either positive or negative. And when you test yourself, you hold one of those pieces of paper that's been folded and mixed up, so you have no idea what's in there. You hold it in your hand or however you douse, hold it to your heart chakra, and you test. And the more accurate you are, because you have no idea what the statement is, the stronger your intuition becomes and more accurate your outcomes.
Thank you. I never heard that before, so thank you. And isn't that Letters to Robin a free download?
Yes, it is.
Yay. All right. Yeah. So lots to think about here. And so you see we're asking for the E-body. We want to do cardiovascular, and we're going to focus on joints. Going to go for 2 hours.
Is that letter to Robin on his website or in a list of his videos?
It's completely separate.
Yeah, you can go to lettertorobin.com. Or no, go to Google. Go to Google. You can get it there.
Oh, so it's the name of a website.
That's an article.
Okay. Is her last name Sharma?
I have no idea.
Okay. I was just looking it up.
On Scribe, there's a letter to Robin download dowsing course.
That's it. Yeah,
Oh,
that's good.
okay. Wow.
If anyone has that internet address handy, maybe they could put it in the chat. If not, no problem.
That's a good idea. And we're also asking for the she motion, so of course we're going to have a variety of messages here. But I'll tell you where we're starting. Look at this. Work is demanding, and that's way up their stress level. We want to access protection. If I can read it. Oh, we want to access protection of the domain of Mother Nature, which might be something related to growing a little of our own produce once in a while. We want to open-mindedness, and that's, again, we're kind of in the middle as a group about that. Boss is mean to employees. That, if you think about it, it may be you. You may be your boss if you're self-employed. And powers of observation. I wonder if we're really seeing what's going on. Let's start that, and we'll see what kind of messages we get.
On the last video or Zoom call we did, you mentioned something about healing hands, incorporating that with the power of thoughts. Who was that book by?
Bernstein or something like that. I'll look it up and put it in. And that, this is the scientist who came across double-blind proof that hands-on healing works, and he's the one who combines it with the image cycling. And so what they do with their hands-on work is, I think they're using it to take any unconscious thoughts that might be non-beneficial are blocked by the fact in their mind they keep cycling in a circle over and over and over the words of things they would like. And apparently I have to reread the book, but a nice way to do this might be to picture your own place that you live, house or apartment. Start with the front door, and that's your first word, and walk through, and it'll help you remember them. And you might be able to do those, that image cycling for many things. It might be extremely effective. Here is what he found, is that they were healing disease. And this is a scientist, and he was at that point very receptive, but he had people do the hands-on that were not. And they had some amazing experiences. And I think I know for me, it's time to look into more of this. We have just got to have better ways to help people. And the image cycling might be one way. Our goal for planet Earth, at least as it applies to whoever it concerns, to do more alternative. Although a friend of mine, we were close to Marty, was driving to work this morning, and she passed this big sign and big billboard that said MJ is back. So she considered that a message, and we know on what would be the word, we know that there is no death, but it's very hard to know it at all times when you've lost someone you love. So, okay, let's just quickly go down, and we still want to see about the acupuncture. Interesting, that first message, I attract praise. So some in here may need their self-esteem bolstered a little. Now we see some stress related to blood, dental, circulation, and there's that dental again. Let's just look.
What is that a picture of that we see on the?
That is amplify range and powers of whatever number is necessary now. And that is from the session startup. And I have no idea. I have no idea anymore what that picture is. This gets us started. And if anybody wants any help with making a vision board, I'm happy to do it. But I think this group in particular, I think, has it figured out. So anything else? We'll see you tomorrow.
Great. Thanks
All
very much.
Bye, Kat.
Bye.
Have a good
Have a
one.
great day. Bye-bye.
This concludes the SRC4u Zoom call. Thank you for participating. We look forward to seeing you again. Until then, take care, and most of all, be well.